Hey guys, it's Ellen, and I was just going to quick show you how you can parse out your chicken into the different pieces that you might want to cook it in if you don't want to roast the whole chicken at one time. So, if you want to get closer. The first thing you want to do is you're going to want to pop this little flap of skin off the legs so that they're hanging freely, like this. And then you're just going to make 2 cuts on either side to loosen up the skin, okay? Just like that. Each bird cuts into 8 pieces. You'll have 2 legs, 2 thighs, below the legs, 2 wings, and 2 breasts. So once you've cut those flaps of skin, you're just gonna push on the thighs until they kind of hang out like that. And that just helps to stabilize the bird while you're taking the breast meat off, which can be a little bit difficult. And yeah, this just gives you more surface area with the chicken. So you're going to turn it around so that the neck is facing you and the legs are facing away from you. And now we're looking at the 2 breast pieces. Now you can feel, and right down the center is the keel bone, okay? And you want to cut on either side of that to separate the 2 breast pieces. And I like to use a steak knife for this, but use whatever knife you're comfortable with and whatever knife is sharp. Okay, so first, once you've found that keel bone, you're just going to slide your knife right off to the side of that and make a cut all the way down until you hit the wishbone, which is right here, and it goes right at the top of the breast. Okay, so you're going to make that cut there, and that should go all the way down until you hit the bottom of the keel bone. And then you're just going to take your knife, and it's kind of like filleting a fish if you've ever done that. You're just going to run it along the bottom of the breast, right along the bone, to separate the whole thing. And then when you get to the end, you're just gonna have to cut the skin on the side and cut around. Careful you don't take off the wing meat because you probably want that. And there's a breast. If you want to take the skin off, you can just rip it off and use your knife to separate it, but it depends on your preference. This right here is the tenderloin. If you've ever wondered where chicken tenders come from, now you know. That's your tenderloin, and that's the main part of the breast. So then you're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Just going to cut right next to the keel, off to the side, and then I turn the bird at this point because I'm right-handed and this part's a little bit more difficult for me. And again, you're just going to follow the bone all the way towards the front of the bird till you get to the bottom of the breast here, and cut around. Oh, this one's going to be a little more stubborn. There it goes. Okay, since we took the skin off the other one, I'm just going to take the skin off of this one too. All right, now you can save the skin and use it with the carcass in like chicken noodle soup and stuff when you're making broth. Okay, so once you've got the breast meat off, I like to take the legs and the thighs off. So you're gonna sever the rest of this skin here, and you're gonna look at it from this angle, okay? So you're gonna take your knife and it's gonna go right next to the carcass, go down, and there's a little bone here, and you want to be right next to that so you get as much meat on the thigh as you can. Then you're going to cut down and around like that, okay? You're going to do the same thing on the other side of the thigh. Cut the skin, follow the carcass until you hit a joint, okay? There's going to be this spot that you hit right about there that you can't cut through. That's just the joint where the thigh hits the rest of the carcass. So at that point, you're just gonna pull on the thigh until you see that joint pop out like that. There's a bit of cartilage there that you can cut through. Don't try and cut through the bone. It never works. You will dull your knife and be very frustrated. So you're just gonna find that joint once you've popped it out, and your knife should be able to cut right through the cartilage, that white stuff there, and it should separate. Now they're still connected at this point, and you probably want them in separate pieces. So the next cut you're gonna make is to separate the leg and the thigh, and that cut is gonna happen about halfway between the two, okay? You can kind of see where the leg meat slopes and meets the thigh here. And you're just gonna make a cut that goes straight between the two. Again, if you're cutting in the right spot, you should hit cartilage right there. You see that white? So you wanna go from the top, cut down, you're gonna hit the cartilage, and you can pop that socket out as well, and then you should be able to cut straight through. Then you have a leg and a thigh, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You're just gonna go down close to the carcass till you hit the bone. All right, pop the joint out, and then go through. Okay. Find that halfway point, halfway between the leg and the thigh, and just go straight down till you hit the cartilage. And pop it a little bit. Finish the cut. Another leg, another thigh. All right, we've got 6 pieces. Now we need the wings. The wings I do last because they're the easiest to get off, and they don't require the other pieces to stabilize. So for this, again, it's just a joint, okay? Right where you're gonna cut, right where this bone meets the carcass, okay? So you're gonna pull it up and get the skin taut, and then you're just gonna go down, and you'll find the cartilage, and just go straight through, and it should come off pretty easily, okay? Now you'll notice you don't usually get full wings like this that have all 3 parts. But typically people take off this 3rd part because there's not much meat on it, and it's really only good for stock. So if you want to take that off before you cook them up, you're just gonna cut down into that little V again, find your joint. You see the cartilage? And as soon as you know where that is, you can cut through all the way. Save that because you can freeze it and put it in stock the next time you're making chicken soup. This can be further broken down if you want the individual chicken wings that you would get at like Buffalo Wild Wings or something. You can cut straight through the wing into 2 separate pieces. Again, every time you make a cut, just make sure that you're finding the cartilage to cut through. It'll just save you a lot of headache trying to cut through bone. All right, that's one wing. I'm gonna do the other one real quick. Okay, as long as I did the first one, I'll just go through cutting this one as well. All right, and there you have it. That is an 8-piece chicken. And the rest of the carcass here, don't waste it. There's a lot of meat left on here. And so what I typically do with these is I'll just take a plastic bag that I have on hand, stick the rest of the carcass in there with any extra pieces. And then the next time I make chicken soup, I'll boil that for a couple of hours and make a nice chicken stock that really tastes quite amazing, especially if you boil the bones long enough. You get some incredible flavor out of the marrow. Yeah, so that's an 8-piece chicken. If you want to debone the thighs, you can. I'll post a tutorial for that another day. But anyways, happy cooking.